Welcome back to the Blazer Victory Podcast. This is your co-host, John Duncan, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Steve Irvine. And Steve, UAB had that get-right game down in Denton, didn't we?
Yeah, and the great thing was it happened quickly, too. And
Yes.
that's what, Trey Ragland on our broadcast even said, he does a thing called Mission of the Game before the game. His first thing he said was, really need to get on. Something happened good early, to kind of get this thing turned early, and that happened, and that happened early, and as it turned out, it happened often. So it was a good day. There was a lot of good things, as we say every week. On Monday morning, when they do their good, bad, and ugly. There's still some bad and ugly there that they can take care of, but fortunately, there was a lot of good, and it's going to help, it's going to help going forward. It's going to help, I think it just helped with confidence and, getting bad taste out of the mouth and just different things like that. But it was a good night in Denton, and time to move forward.
Definitely. And Blazers start off Conference USA play the right way and starting 1-0 and getting the victory 40-6 over the North Texas Mean Green down in Denton. And, you talk about starting off the right way. How about Swoopes, Keandre Swoopes getting that interception? And I did hear you guys post-game, Steve. He was surprised that Reuter threw it to him.
Yeah. But, the great thing, and he talked about in there, they first off, they were playing a zone, which,
yes.
They don't do a lot. So, I think it was a great call by Bill Clark and David Reeves to, do something a little different right away. And, he baited the guy into it, and I went back and watched it on the replay last night or this morning, and he did. He did a good job of, he had his man was there in the flat, and the guy was along the sideline a little deeper. The guy was well covered. The thing is, if the ball gets through, I don't know who the DB was behind him, but the DB behind him might have intercepted it. It was good coverage. Right. I don't know where the guy was throwing it to, but yeah, it was a good play, good call, good play, and, great start.
Definitely. Well, UAB did a great job on the defensive side of the ball as expected. But you got to give credit to the defense, man. That North Texas offense, we shut them down. Just 220 total yards, under 100 passing. That's unheard of for a Seth Luttrell offense. If you guys go back and listen to our preview for the North Texas game, North Texas is a high-powered, explosive offense year in and year out under Seth Luttrell, but UAB, just shut them down pretty much.
Yeah, did a great job. No, it was a banged up offense. They didn't have
That's
most,
true.
A good, really a lot of their receivers. Had some of the guys.
But we had some banged up guys as well. Coming off of that.
Oh yeah, no, it was a very banged up. Yeah, there was some key guys didn't play. T.D. Marshall didn't play. Tyler Taylor didn't play. A couple other guys didn't play as much as they could, just because they were banged up. So, Dijon Turner didn't play.
Right.
So yeah, no, it was banged up both ways. But I think the difference is, and we've talked about it over and over and over, the depth of this defense is tremendous. So when you can take. When you say Tyler Taylor didn't play, for example, and so depth is a little issue there. So you can take two-time all-conference player Chris Mole and go, okay, well, we're going to move you back in the box right now until Tyler Taylor's better, or maybe who knows? But but you're able to kind of move that kind of guy up into the box. You don't skip a beat,
right.
And that's kind of what it is all the way through, T.D. Marshall is out, and you're able to have experienced guys. Like C.D. Daniels played a lot more. I think he's been banged up a little bit in there, but he played a lot more on Saturday, and a lot of that was because T.D. Marshall wasn't out there. And so that's what's so great about this defense is, if you're hurt, if you have a couple key injuries, you're able to just go, okay, we'll just put this guy in there, and we're going to be okay. Where I think a lot of teams, especially in this conference, a lot of teams don't have that luxury. When they're missing a guy, the guy they put in, especially when they're missing a couple guys, the guys they put in, it's a definitely drop off. So I think that showed Saturday. I think that showed. A couple teams that were dealing a little bit with some injuries, and one of them didn't miss a beat, and the other looked like a different team.
Definitely. And give credit to that defensive line for UAB and getting some quarterback pressure. It felt like
Yeah.
all game we were in the backfield on Ani and on Reuter. I believe we ended up with 3 sacks.
Should
And
have been
so
five. Should have
it
been
should have been
five.
5. I know.
Yeah, but hey, but yeah, 3 sacks and pressure.
Yes.
Reuter was just totally. He didn't know what to do. You know,
Right.
I mean, and now he played better in the second half, uh, but no, he was flustered. And it was because of the guys up front. And all of them. I mean, they really really got good pressure, and that was great to see.
Definitely. Secondary did a good job holding up too on some of those wide receivers for North Texas. But it was definitely great to see us finally get some sacks. As you mentioned, it should have been 5. There were a couple of 15-yard penalties. But hey, honestly, Steve, and you might disagree with me, but I'm okay with, you don't intentionally mean to grab the face mask when you're trying to sack the quarterback. Sometimes your hands just
Oh
get in the
yeah.
way and they go, where you don't need them to be. So I'm okay with that. Now, what I'm not okay with is, we can get into that with Mick Williams with the suplex, getting that 15-yard penalty. Now, that's one of those things you can't really do.
Yeah, you can't, but
You
I don't
disagree?
know.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
no, you
see
can't.
it.
You
Yeah.
can't. No, you can't. But I still haven't seen that on a replay. So because I haven't watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I mean,
Yeah, he did kind of pick him up and throw him down.
but isn't that what you do when you tackle a guy?
True, I know.
I mean, and I don't know. I don't know about the, because we're the booth at North Texas is a great stadium, great press box, but the booth is closed, and so you can't really hear anything.
Mm,
Um, and I don't know if the whistle had blown. I don't know if I don't know what, and I guess, I mean, I know you have to call that, but I don't know. You're tackling a guy. You pick him up, you
yeah,
throw him down. That's what you do. But
yeah,
but again, it could have been late. The whistle could have blown. I don't know. I mean, but yeah, I mean, things like that. And I thought there were a few that there was some of those 15 yarders I didn't quite agree with.
yeah.
But yeah, you got to get better discipline. But you're right. Like the face mask. I mean, he just was back there so fit, so fast, and so quick
Hmm.
that he just accidentally grabbed onto it, and that happens.
Right.
I have no problem with that one. And I don't agree with the horse collar one.
No, that was not. Did you see
Yeah,
that? That
I
was not a
did.
horse collar.
I,
Yeah, he just
I,
grabbed
I
the jersey. Yeah.
yeah, and I didn't see it at the game because the replays were hard to see for us, and so I didn't quite see it. But I went back and watched it, and yeah, I didn't agree with that. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they're going to call some stuff, and
Right.
there was the one defensive holding call that on air I kind of said I didn't agree with it. That I
Yeah.
mean, man, it came well out to the play. The guy's 40, 50 yards away.
Was that on Starling or was that on?
I don't even know who they called. No, that was the one where they didn't even call a number.
Yeah, they just said hold.
Yeah, they said holding, which maybe that's because there wasn't holding. I don't know.
Hmm.
But yeah, but there's got to be. You got to. I mean, you got to clean the penalties up. I mean, it's just got to happen. But with that being said, there was some that I didn't quite agree with. Now,
Yeah. And
now, Dillon Hopkins, he earned his now.
hey, we got to talk about that.
That's hilarious.
Man, we've got to talk about that. Okay. So for those that did, well, I'm sure everybody listening has seen, but Dillon Hopkins, they ran a little trick play. Hopkins was in at quarterback, but they rotated him out to wide receiver on the trick play, and he was in the end zone going for the ball. And it really was, I can't even remember who threw the ball, to be honest. It was AJ Davis. Yeah, he threw the ball. So it was clearly out of bounds. But Dillon Hopkins grabs the defensive back for North Texas and body slams him into the ground. He gets called for pass interference. I have never seen a quarterback get called for pass interference by body slamming the defensive back of the other team. Man, that
Yeah.
was great to see. And I'm okay with that 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it. I mean,
Right?
might as well wait. He was worried about the guy intercepting it, and and playing DB a little bit, and he overdid it, but
Yeah, I'm sure Clark didn't like it, but hey.
no, but it was fun to watch.
Yes, it was.
It was fun to watch, and then honestly, in that situation, you got a big lead. I mean, I think that I don't know when the team sees one of their quarterbacks doing something like that. I think
Yes.
that brings helps bring a team together. I mean, when a quarterback that makes a physical play like that, even though it's not a smart play,
Right.
it makes a physical play like that. I think it fires some guys up. So
Yes.
it was more fun to watch and fun to talk about than something good that happened. I mean, but
Yes.
it's boy, he slammed him now. I
Yes, he
mean,
did.
so
Yeah, if you missed it, y'all need to go back and watch it. It's all over Twitter. I mean, yeah, just go back and watch that. And I believe we shared it on our Twitter account, which you can follow us at twitter.com/BlazerPod. But Steve, we need to get into this quarterback discussion. And you might feel otherwise, but honestly, man, the way Dillon Hopkins played in Denton, it might be time to just start him for one game just to see what he does. Maybe start him this week in New Orleans against Tulane and just see what he can do as a starting quarterback, because he ended up, and looking at the ESPN.com stats, he had a QB quarterback rating of 99.2. He was 6 of 7 for 202 yards and those 3 touchdowns. And those, a couple of those was Garrett Prince, just showing how what a stud he is, and that speed. And we got to talk about his speed. And I didn't know he was that fast. But Dillon Hopkins just played phenomenal, Steve. And we've got to give him credit. We still love Tyler Johnson, of course. But man, you honestly, you got to keep that hot in there, the hot hand in. So I think Dillon deserves a chance to start in this Tulane game Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the approach they're going to take. Coach Clark even said afterwards, it's a hot hand thing,
Yep.
and if coming off a game like that, there's part of you that says, oh, yeah, it might be time. I think I think the approach you take though is, and I think they'll do this. I didn't talk directly with them about it, but I mean, I think it's whoever practiced best this week. Whoever seems prepared and whoever seems like they have the hot hand coming in and go with that. I think we can't, and I know it's very easy, and we've talked about this before too. It's very easy to do the whole knee jerk reaction to everything, and hey, he was sensational. He should have been 7 of 7.
Yes.
That ball that Pittman had, Pittman makes that catch, 9
out of 10 times.
Yeah. And Pittman's, really catches the ball well. And I'm sure he'll tell you that he should have caught that ball. And tough catch. Now, it wasn't an easy catch, but it was a good throw. So you're talking about if he makes that catch, he's 7 of 7 with 4 touchdowns, and that's a pretty good night.
Yeah.
And he's hot right now. But I don't think you knee jerk into anything right now. I think you prepare this week, and if you come out of your preparation this week thinking that he's going to give you the best chance as a starter, then you start him. I don't think you go into it and going, well, we've got to start him because he played great last week. I don't think you do that. But I think if you keep your mind open during practice and say, okay, let's look at this, and then if you feel like at the end of it that he's the best guy to give you the best chance to win this week, then yeah, they go with it. I think, right now, and I don't think that Tyler didn't play well, no doubt, but I don't think he had a whole lot of opportunities either. I don't think he missed a lot of, he didn't throw that many in the first place, but I don't think he missed a lot of balls. He just, didn't.
Yeah, he had a good pass to Rajay Johnson-Sanders on that 4th and 15.
And so I don't think he was one of those where he was just terrible, but I think Dillon was better on Saturday. So I think it's and I haven't obviously heard Coach Clark talk this week in his press conference because that's coming up, but. We'll see what he says about it, and he might say this. He might say, in his press conference, "Hey, we're going to start Dillon," and but who knows? I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I do think in my mind, you keep it open, and you go from there. But what's important is not really who starts. To me, what's important is the way Dillon Hopkins is playing, which is tremendous, and that's what's important because. With him, with 2 guys that you can rely on to win games, which both of them are proven, and Dillon's playing better than ever. And you also can't forget what Tyler did that first week. Tyler was tremendous that first week.
Oh yeah.
So he's still capable of doing it. He's just had a couple bad outings, and the Georgia one, let's take that out.
Yeah.
But this, Saturday he didn't have a whole lot of chance. He got sacked and he didn't have a whole lot of time. And again, I don't think he missed. I don't think he just missed guys over and over. He just didn't have a whole lot of chance. And so, I mean, the Dillon Hopkins that played Saturday is going to win a lot of games for you because, man, he gets that ball out quick and he's got, he's really good arm strength and his decision making seems to be really, really good right now. And,
Right.
certainly a lot better than 2 years ago. Not that it was terrible 2 years ago, but I mean, now he's just playing with a lot of confidence.
He's more comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think the other thing that I don't think that as a coach and as somebody, I don't think that you've got to do whatever you can to keep the confidence up of both guys. Cause no matter what you say, they're one play away from having to play no matter which one's not playing, cause injuries happen. As we keep going through this stretch, this is we don't have an off game for a bye week for a while
until Halloween. Yeah.
Till Halloween. And to Halloween and you're playing some, you're going to take some hits and it's a grind now. So, you gotta look at that too. You gotta look at, hey, we gotta make sure both of them are ready to go, and Lucero too. But I mean, just you're one play away. So, but hey, like I say, if you get Dillon Hopkins, the Saturday Dillon Hopkins, it's hard to keep him on the sideline.
Definitely. And I know, Steve, it is easy to just, have a knee-jerk reaction. You go back and listen to our South Alabama post-game recap from last year, and we, thought Lucero was going to be the next great thing. So it's just hard, being a fan, that's just, what I tend to do at least. You
should. I mean, you should. That's a natural thing. A natural thing. And, they always say, they've said forever that the, most popular guy in the team is a backup quarterback.
Definitely. Well, we did, early on in the North Texas game, we did get the run game going a little bit, kind of got away from it after the first couple drives. But I think, and I'm sure you guys said this on the radio, Steve, North Texas was crowding that box, so they were forcing UAB to make more throws to beat them. And, fortunately, we were able to do that. But I felt Dwayne McBride and Jermaine Brown both ran pretty well.
Yeah, I thought so, too. I mean, I do think that I do think that they have to be better up front. I mean, I think that this offensive line is good enough when you're playing a North Texas, not when they're playing Georgia, but when they're playing North Texas. This offensive line is good enough that no matter what you do to them, they're going to block it, and you're going to be able to run better than they did after the first quarter, say on Saturday. I mean, I didn't think that they were as dominant up front as they could be. Not that they were bad, not but yes, they were doing things to take that away. But I mean, this offensive line is good enough in Conference USA against most of the defense you play that they should still be able to run the ball a little better than they did after the first quarter.
Agreed.
With that being said, they didn't play bad. Now they I thought they were good, but you got to be able to do that. And I mean, I think, McBride didn't play a whole lot after, I don't think he played at all after halftime, but he was, from what I understand, I think he maybe had some cramping issues.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he wasn't hurt, but he wasn't, healthy, wasn't ready to play because of that, I think. So that hurt a little bit because I thought he was really running the ball well, early, really well early.
Yes.
And like I said, Jermaine ran the ball well, and Lucius Stanley, when he came in, as he always does, gives them a spark. And but I was a little disappointed with the way they ran the ball overall.
Me too. But shout out to Larry Wooden and getting his first touchdown at UAB. He got that touchdown, so good for him.
Yeah, it was good to see.
Well, let's talk about Garrett Prince, man, because he went off and had a night and didn't just 3 catches, but 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. And one of those was a 61-yard touchdown. But let's just talk a little bit about him, Steve. I didn't realize that Garrett had that speed, man. I mean, he looked like a
Yeah.
wide receiver out there. Just, man.
Yeah, and he did. Wait, and that's what he was. That's what he came in as. You
Yeah.
know, he was an outside receiver at Butler Community College, and probably in high school too. I'm not sure about his high school stuff, but I know in junior college he was an outside receiver. And when they signed him, you know, we asked Coach Clark about it in the post game too, and you know, and I asked him, is this what what you brought him in to do? And he said, yeah. And he said that he's faster. He wasn't surprised by his speed, you know, on Saturday, which, you know, obviously they see it every day.
Yeah.
We haven't really had a chance to see him you know, but you know, he's an outside receiver who's playing inside, and he's such a matchup problem, you know, for guys now because of that speed. And, you know, it was great to see it for the first time because he was flying. I mean,
Yes.
I was shocked. I knew he's athletic, knew he can catch the ball, knew that, you know, and the thing is, he's really developed into a great blocker. You know, he's really a good tight end, but you know, in truth is he's probably, you know, an outside or a big slot receiver type guy in reality, but he's playing tight end, and so he's going to be a matchup going forward, especially, you know, after seeing what we could do there. And it was just, I mean, he was flying.
Yes.
I mean, he was running away from people, and I mean, he was running away from his blockers. I mean, he was running away from everybody on the field, and so yeah, that was tremendous. See, and it's just another great thing moving forward to see that piece in the passing game, because
Definitely.
the passing game is still trying to evolve a little bit. They're still trying to, you know, figure out, you know, who they're how they're gonna continue forward. You know, I mean, you know, it's still a work in progress. And so when you add that part of his game to it now, you know, it's going to get better and better.
Definitely. Well, guys, this was our North Texas recap episode. A little shorter than normal, but we will be back in a couple of days to get you ready for our trip to New Orleans as UAB takes on the Tulane Green Wave, and maybe a possible conference matchup coming soon. We'll just
Yeah.
we don't know anything, but hey, fingers crossed that maybe we can get in that league again with some of our old Conference USA brethren. But we'll be back nonetheless in just a couple of days to get you ready for the UAB Tulane game. But thanks as always for listening to us. Make sure you're following our podcast on podcast platform, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Make sure you hit that follow and subscribe button, and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/BlazerPod. But we'll see you guys in just a couple of days. Go Blazers.